Okay, now we should be good. We should be good. Is this, hold on. Okay, are we live now? Maybe? What the fuck, man? There we go, now we're live. Okay. Weird. Okay, so I had the wrong stream key inside of Streamlabs. I literally was streaming for like a few minutes and I'm like, wait a second. I don't think we're live. But now we should be. We shouldn't have any freezing issues like before. So we're live again. I apologize for that. There's like 3 minutes we kind of just lost there. I was streaming to nothing. But basically what I was saying was I, for the most part, finished the authentication again. It's probably like my 4th time doing this. Yo, how's it going, Salty? Welcome, welcome. We're on Streamlabs now again, so hopefully we don't have any freezing problems. But I hope you're doing well. I also wanted to thank everybody for... I mean, I don't know if there's anyone really to thank other than the YouTube algorithm, but it seems like that clip I posted really has started gaining traction. Yo, how's it going, New Nav? Welcome. And we've gained like a stupid number of subscribers in the last week. I think like 400 or 500, which is like 10 times what I'm used to, nearly. So that's insane. So I just want to say thank you for the support on that video, given that I know it is a controversial topic, and there have been a few, people that disagree, which is fine. But most people, like 95%, have been positive, which has been really cool to see. So I'm going to do more stream clips, in the future, I think, maybe, or dedicated videos. I don't know. So that formula seems to work. But anyway, I digress. Today, the focus is the file uploader again. I don't know what we're going to get finished today, but my plan was to use the BetterAuth session API instead of the one that I built, because I feel like that would just be easier. So if I go to the client here, I should be able to use this use session hook, which should kind of allow me to, provide that instead of doing the way that I did it, kind of have, it's already been done. So I'm going to probably implement that instead. Because I think that would just work. Because trying to like make my own session validator on top of, a system that's already predefined is probably not the greatest idea. So I'm going to redo that little refactor. And then we're going to go from there. So I also, the reason why the time was not 25 minutes, but 23 minutes is because I realized I had the wrong stream key and I was not streaming. I thought I was streaming, but I wasn't. So anyway, that's that. So let's just make sure. Yeah, okay. So we're still, just want to make sure we're still live here. I'm like paranoid. Okay. Yeah, it looks like we're still good. So I don't know, like it's weird because I haven't had this amount of like technical difficulties. So let's fix this here. Let's go to our, where would it be? I think it would be in the root, right? No. Because this is our auth verifier. So we could actually probably put the session validation inside of this, right? Inside of our existing auth verifier, and then that calls something else, doesn't it? Oh yeah, the provider, right? The context. So you have the session. So with use session, what are our options there? Let's just do a little bit of research here. I want to see this use session hook. So it's caching, background tasks. It's not really what I wanted. Users and accounts. Sessions, here we go. Okay, so then we should be able to get the session. So the session is an object that stores, okay, so we have the user ID from that session, right? But that doesn't give us like the user info. So session management, so const data session. So let's just change this here. So the session data is going to have its own type, I think, associated with better off. So we can kind of like, I mean, we probably don't even need this provider, realistically. We can probably do all this inside of the root. So let's just refactor this here. And then, so what we'll do is we'll import auth client. Okay. And then we'll get the session data. Oops. Const data session equals await auth client dot get session, right? And we need to like verify that this, oh right, wait, this can't just be done in this. This needs to be in a use effect. Yeah. Okay, so you know what we'll do? We need to make this probably into a context. So we'll learn how to customize session response. Okay, so let's do. All right, let's just do this. Let's just do it like this. So let's do it a use effects. And then we need a get session or fetch or load session. Async. Okay. And then this would be a const got you tabbed while I work on my landing page CSS project. Awesome. I appreciate that, Salty. That's exactly what the streams are for. Like co-working, essentially. So I appreciate you. Okay. And if my talking is annoying, then you can just mute me. So I just like to commentate it, just because if there's anyone watching the VOD, I like to kind of explain what I'm doing. I also ordered new. Switches for my keyboard because I have a lot of. This keyboard's great, but I have a lot of buttons that are double pressing, so I think there's a bit of bounce happening. So it's not ideal. We should probably do this inside of like, I don't know what the best way to do this is, to be real. Like I could keep this inside of the context now that I think about it, but then I'd have to mess around with the states, right? So okay, so let's actually do this inside of the context again. So if we go to the auth provider, but this needs to have its right type, right? So let's just so we have our auth verifier. Okay. Use session, retrieves the current active sessions, learn how to customize, list sessions, revoke session, revoke other sessions. Okay. The other thing I'm going to need to do as well is probably clear out the existing, because there's a lot of sessions in there. So let's do this. Let's say const data. Right? And then we'll say, what does this return? So get session returns a client fetch option. Oh, right, because this needs to be awaited. Okay, so then now what? React auth client Oh wait, no. Let's just see what that is then. Console.log data. Oh wait. Where are we getting the session from? This must be a type then, huh? Ah, this is the type, okay. Const data session. Cannot find named data. We should be allowed to get that though. Here. Not session management. What do I... Sessions. Here we go. Okay, get session. Customizing session response. Yeah, okay. I don't care about the response because it's going to have what we need. I'm not sure even where this type is being pulled from, to be real with you. Disable. Oh, it's this, okay. I don't know why. Okay, let's just see. Okay, so it seems like the bitrate's fine on my end. It doesn't look like there's any issues, so might be a your end situation. But let me know again if it keeps happening, because I will look into that further. But my stream health is good apparently. So, all right. So this is our session. So we did get the session, which is good. And then now we can probably set the. We can probably set that then, set the session data. So we can do the set session data to, but then the only thing here is the auth verifier is going to have the wrong type, or sorry, the auth provider is going to have the wrong type here. So that's one thing. So we're going to have to give it, let's say session dot, well, what even is the type anyway? Session data, web user session type is just the username and the email. Okay, so it's the only thing that we're actually doing. So we can actually just keep that. And then we can say session.user.name, and then email is the auth provider. Okay, then we have the session, and then we can add the session data dot username here, right? What's the problem? The above error occurred in the home component. Interesting. Okay. Did I mess something up here? My auth verifier should be fine. Set session data. Let's just okay, so we're console logging that again. Okay, so it looks like it's null actually. Canary properties are null, but we have the session here, so I don't know why that's not working. Let's just, does that fix it? Weird. Okay, so now I can get the session, but I can't get the session data. From this use auth. Okay, so we have our auth verifier, use effect, fetch session data. I wonder if this is fetching now every time, if that's causing a trouble. So we can get the data here. That's good. Yeah, so we should have like the name, set the data to the username and the email, which is fine because that's all we really need. That's all the client really needs to know, right? So I mean, like, what if we did this? And then we need to do a fragment. Okay, and then we can just do pre and then JSON.stringify session data. And it was like null2, I think, right? Yeah, so there's our data. So our data is there. But then why can't we read the username? Whoops. Oh. What the fuck? And why was that broken before? I have no idea. Okay, so we're getting the session, right? Oh, but see, when we refresh, it breaks. Okay, interesting. I wonder if there's like a race condition issue. If something's trying to happen before it can. I think that might be something. There might be a race condition problem, I wonder. Can't read properties of null, because if we like, yeah. So I bet there's something going on where there's something's racing to get this session before it's actually defined, right? So that would be shitty. But if I delete this cookie and refresh, okay, so now it's not even redirecting properly, right? Because we're not unauthenticated. So, do I have ESLint enabled? Yes, I do. I do have ESLint enabled. I'm just this feels like it's a race condition problem. Okay, so home and line 8. Yeah, that makes sense. So we're trying to read the session data, but there is no session. Or at least it can't find a session, is my hunch, right? So if we, so we're not even console logging the. So this is probably happening inside of this. Or I wonder, you know what it might be? I wonder if the use effect's not running. I wonder if this is not running when it should be. That also could be part of it. Like it's not running on refresh or something. Like what if we just console, like, I don't know, maybe it isn't. Yeah, I don't know. Instead of guessing, create a debug panel and spit data. Yeah. The only problem is I'm not sure how to get the data that I need. That's the one thing. I'm trying to figure out how to get the data that I need. I don't think it's the middleware because I'm using the get session from the. I'm already console logging it here. But yeah, no, it's just a read thing. So like, let's say hypothetically, back to guessing. Okay, all right, buddy, you're gonna get. I'm gonna mute you if you keep doing that. Is it always successful though? What do you mean? The API? I don't know. I'm just trying to think through the problem. I'm not guessing. I'm just trying to think through what I need to do here. So let's see. Let's see if we highlight, comment out this, and then we refresh. Okay, so it does refresh back to. Okay, so we're still getting an auth verifier. Okay, where is this happening? Set session data. Okay, so this is actually. Okay, so what we need to do, so it refreshes fine because we're not trying to read a null value here, right? Hello, first time in stream. Are you using Next.js or using Express with React? I'm using neither. Zikua. I'm using my own tech stack, which is you can read a little bit about it here. But basically, it's React on top of Hano. So React front end, Hano back end with Drizzle and Postgres as the database. So that's currently what I'm doing. Okay, so we're not trying to read null values, so we're not spitting out an error, right? And then so. Thank you. I appreciate that. So yeah, it's still getting null here. So what we need to do is we need to catch this. So the session data is null. So it should. I wonder. Ooh, you know what actually might be happening? Now that I think about it, I wonder if this use effect is happening before this one. Like, I bet you that's probably what it is. Because if I console.log, like, let's say 1, yeah, that's exactly what's happening. And then I console.log 2 here, yeah. So this use effect is beating this one, which is what the problem was, right? So that's exactly what's happening here. So basically, we were trying to see if the session was null or not null before we actually had a chance to fetch it from the client, because this was awaited and this isn't. Interesting. Okay, so that is what the problem is. I think I'm pretty sure. So we need to make sure that this runs after this, right? And I remember I split this into 2 different use effects for a reason, and I think that was due to, well, because I mean, first of all, this one's doing the redirecting and this one's doing the fetching, right? So that's kind of important. I just need to wait for this to have, so I could manage this with a state, in the sense that, like, we have like a loading state. So that's a way we could do this, right? I think that's a solution. That's a potential solution we could do there. I'm just going to take a 5-minute break. You can use React TanStack to handle those states. Yeah, you know what, Zikua, you're right. You're right. But I'm not doing that because maybe move the checker. Oh, I see you have a reason why they're separated. Yeah, it's a reason. The reasoning is because this is like the whatchamacallit. This is the redirect. This is for redirecting, and then this is for actually fetching, right? So they're doing 2 different jobs. Anyway, let me get back to my point. Is I'm doing my own stack just so that I can learn. You know, and get visibility on the front end and the back end as kind of separate apps, right? And I think, at least for me, I found it really difficult to work with full stack frameworks. At least, like, I tried doing that. Like, if you go back a couple weeks in some of my older streams, I tried working with some full stack frameworks, but I don't know if it's just like my lack of experience or what, but I found it really difficult to work with those because I felt like there were gaps in my understanding that were, it was creating too much friction. So I pivoted to using my own tech stack and kind of doing things more manually. And there will be, again, the only reason for that is just get more visibility on what exactly is happening between the front end and the back end and the database and these sorts of things, and have that kind of separation. But that's just, again, that's temporary probably. Like I can see myself moving to using full stack frameworks eventually when I get a more solid understanding of the more fundamental concepts. So yeah. Also, the other thing that I want to mention too, especially as I've had, and it's kind of interesting too, because like I kind of started this community, purely to hold myself accountable for my work, but it's kind of grown into, or like my studying, but it's kind of grown into this like big thing. Like I've got like over 3,000 subscribers now, and a pretty sizable audience. But with that kind of comes, people of varying opinions, right? Because when you're small, you kind of only really attract people that really want to watch you because you don't really have much social proof yet. But when you grow in size, you get people that, more haters, so to speak. So I just want to say, like, doing what I'm doing, like, it's not easy. Like, at least like streaming development, like to anybody watching, I don't know. It's pretty difficult. Yo, Danny, how's it going? I hope you're doing all right. But yeah, no, I've just noticed like the difficulty level as far as like streaming and like trying to think through problems at the same time has gotten higher. But I'm sure it's something I'll get used to. It's just a learning curve, like with anything else, right? And I think if you're just like kind of watching, it's something that you don't really appreciate unless you do it. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I just because I certainly didn't, for sure. How's my learning going? It's going. It's kind of slowed down a little bit, only because life's been pretty busy, and I've had I've had some stuff going on, but we're continuing to make progress every single day, or almost every day, every stream, I should say. So that's really all I can ask for, right? Yeah, that's pretty much that. Yeah, I don't know. Gonna keep continuing to try and show up and try my best, despite the way the world is right now. So, are you doing this project using your own custom stack? Yes, I am. I'm using Betteroff for an authentication library, but this is my own stack. Yes. If you want to read actually more detail about it, I wrote a little paste bin with some information. Keep going. I appreciate that, Danny. It's feels like I've over the past like month, it feels like it's like weird because my channel's grown more than it ever has, but I feel like I'm like getting to this kind of point where I'm like not hitting a wall necessarily, but like the amount of things that I have to learn, like it's kind of like before I was following a very linear path. It's like, okay, you do HTML, then you do CSS, and then you do a bit of JavaScript, and you make a couple projects, blah, blah, blah. But now I've reached a certain point where like the breadth of options has just like exploded, right? And so I feel like because of that, I've kind of had to find a path to navigate through that breadth, right? And that hasn't really been the easiest process, or at least I kind of underestimated how difficult that would be. But again, I'm showing up and making progress and showing the world what it looks like when you do show up and actually put in the work. So why not learning with coding with AI? Mike, mostly personal preference, but also just like I enjoy it, really. And my answers kind of changed over the months, but I think the main thing is just because I enjoy it. And I like to understand the software I'm making and producing. Hats off to you with no AI helps. That's very impressive. I appreciate that, Courageous. But yeah, I have a little command here. I also, I'm hedging a bet that, understanding how software works at a deep level is still going to be a valuable skill. Maybe I'm wrong too. I'm fully admitting that I might be wrong, right? The singularity might come tomorrow. I don't know, but I don't really want to live in a world where I'm beholden to these technologies that are given to us by large megacorps, because to me that's kind of like selling out, and I don't really want to. And it's not fun either. That's not a kind of world I want to live in. So I'm trying to create, my own little happy programming space here. And also learning, because I think that it's important still to understand how these systems work. But again, that's an opinion. If you want to go and make the next $1 million SaaS with AI, then you're by all means entitled to doing that. I just don't think that's not the approach I want to take, nor do I think it's a good approach. But again, my opinion. So that's basically it. So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to check the null status of this. So what we're going to do is maybe you just need to have a loading state. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to actually do that. So let's implement that right now. Let's say loading session, set loading session to use state Boolean. If I can type properly, Jesus. And we're going to say it's true for default. And then what we're going to do is, how did you deal with forgetting concepts and reviewing them in the early days of learning? Honestly, I still forget concepts all the time, Danny. It's just something that happens, right? But I think as you learn more, and you kind of iterate on that, the concepts that you forget, it gets easier and easier to pick them back up, because you're interacting with them more and more frequently. But at the beginning, I think it was a mix of the fact that HTML and CSS, I started off pretty easy. Vanilla HTML and CSS is not rocket science, right? And the other thing is I have a programming background, at least a CS background. So I went to school for computer science. However, the degree that I took was very math and theory focused. So I didn't really learn much practical project building skills whatsoever. So this is this whole endeavor that I've been going on my channel has been kind of new to me, with project building and all these sorts of things. I don't see how understanding your work deeply can be a negative. Lots of abstraction was made before, but people never claim that it's useless to learn things deeper even if you didn't use it. Yeah, that's fair. You will though get people that, I don't know if it's because they are insecure about the fact that they don't understand things deeply, Sunil, but they will have opinions and kind of attack you for doing the hard thing that seems to them as useless, even though, I don't know. I've gotten angry DMs from people saying you should quit, give up, what you're doing is useless, blah 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 blah. And you just kind of got to take it in stride, right? So, anyway, but if you're not careful about kind of separating your personal life and your personal goals and ambitions from your online stuff, it can really get to you. So that is something that is something to consider. Okay, so let's do a loading session. Actually, I'm gonna do a set loading session as a dependency here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to say if session is not null. Well, actually, we should say if session. Otherwise, what we can do is we can say else set session data to null. And then after this, we can set the loading state, right? Oh, session to false. Okay, and then we can only run this if, and then we also need to include that as a dependency. So if loading session, then we want to fetch the session data. And then we only want to do this if not loading session, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to say navigate, but also loading session as a dependency. What other dependencies are there? Session data. Oh. Right. Of course. Okay. So that now should work. We've got that state included. So if we let's re-log in here. The other thing I'm going to do before I do that is I'm going to go into my oh wait, I need to open Chrome for this. If I can type, dude. It's too much work, man. Oh, it opened up in... Okay, I don't want it in Brave, though, because it doesn't load in Brave, bro. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I've got my 2 users. I need to delete all these sessions here. So let's get rid of the sessions. But no, I've been typing at work all day. Yo, how's it going, Tyler? Welcome, welcome. I hope you're doing well, my friend. We had a hater in chat earlier, so first like legit hater. Well, I mean, not even really a hater, just, you know. So that's okay. Likewise, yeah. I'm doing all right. A hater, yes. Yeah, someone called me a moron for not immediately implementing a solution that he suggested with regard to debugging. Like, I'm sorry, I can't implement a debugger in 30 seconds. Okay, so that did work. Nice. And then now if we refresh this, it still works. And then we should be able to get this this data. Welcome user to BenStack. Okay, so now it's not working. Okay. Still. I think he's gone now, but that's okay. Yeah, he's just better than everyone. Yup. No, it's it comes with it, right? It's funny because and I was kind of saying this a little bit earlier. Is up till this point, I haven't had to really deal with haters. Until that video, that clip I posted blew up. I've had more haters in the last week than I have ever. So it's kind of jarring a little bit. How the fuck? Okay, so it's reading username, but where is this happening? So it's happening inside of our thing here. But we literally implemented the, okay, so that's not, so the sessions work, so there is still a race condition. They hate us because they ain't us? Yes, indeed. Set loading session false. So then this should only navigate if it's the right fucking thing, right? Although I wonder if the session data inside of our auth provider is, oh, we need to make this also null because the session data might be null. That was the problem, maybe. I think that might have been the reason. I think the typing was wrong. So now theoretically, because so for instance, right, because the session data didn't have a null option, and we were setting it to null here, then maybe there's something with the TypeScript that thought that it couldn't be null. That's what it is. It was a type problem, I think. Let's hope that was the problem. I don't know. So the session still should be active. So if I load that data in here. Okay, so now it's okay. So it's still not working. Okay, so fuck's sake, man. Session data.username. So we're using auth, but we're not redirecting properly. So what is? Let's console log the session data. Right. I thought it was for sure that though. Okay, so there's no console log here. Or maybe it's because I wonder if it's because the home page. Okay, so hear me out for a second. This is my thinking. I think it's because the home page is trying to render before this finishes. So our auth verifier, is not giving, or the home page is not giving the auth verifier a chance to verify the session. I think that's what's happening here, and I need to figure out how to prevent that, right? So I need to think about that, because this is so the other way of doing this, it's not waiting the data. No, so this is what we need to do, I think, is when we're doing use off here, this should be an awaited thing. So what it should technically, the use off should be, I feel like, yeah. But I'm just trying to think about how to implement that. Okay, so because I don't want to render the home unless, now the other option is to create another route called home, or have a loading state maybe within the home page. Right, because now what if I add a session loading property to the context? Yo, how's it going, Satya? That's what we can do. We can add a session loading property to the auth provider context type. I'm happy to see you reach 3K subs. I just noticed. Thank you, Danny. I appreciate it. Goodbye for now, man. I need to do something now. Wish you the best. Appreciate you joining, Blaine. Thank you so much. So we'll say session loading is a Boolean, right? And then our default there will be session loading needs to be set to something, right? So this is our auth provider. And then maybe we even need a setter for that as well. And then we can do as another const as well. Oops, this needs to have a colon. So let's fix this. Guess what? I started getting up early in the morning. Nice. So I'm assuming you've woken up. Okay, so this should work then. Boolean. Then we'll default this to true. And then we'll say const set loading, or set session loading is equal to loading as Boolean set loading to loading. And then we'll add loading and then set session loading to what it is. There we go. Nice, I am. Awesome, man. I need to, I get up around 8 a.m., 8 to 8:30 a.m. every morning, so that's my usual. Okay, so then instead of that, we can just get in the set, or the set, what was it, session loading and set session loading from the use off as well, which we should be able to export. Yeah, so that should be fine. We don't need this use state anymore. And then we set session loading. And then now we can say if session loading. Then we do session loading. And then set session loading. And then session loading. Then I'm including this inside of the context, right? Which is better, because then now home can interact with it, right? By the way, how's my cat? He's doing well. He's doing well. So now what we can do is we can say like if we can get the session data and the session loading from here, right? And then what we can say is we can say if or session loading, and then if it's loading, we return like, you know, loading or something. Oh, because this is, I see. So I need to remove this. So loading. Oh, and then this needs to be inside of a fragment as well, probably. Okay. So, dude, what is going on here? Return. Oh, otherwise, this. Oops. This is a mess. Okay, hold on. Otherwise, we need to return the data, right? Let's just do JSON.stringify session data to null. Or is it null to? Sorry. There we go. Now we're good. We have that loading state now. There it is. Perfect. Nice. One way to make that cleaner is above your return statement, you can early return if the session's loading. Very common pattern, easy to read. Oh, true. Fair enough. So that's actually fair. So if I just do it like this, return like this. Ah, yeah, you know what? That's a good idea. I appreciate that suggestion, Carlos. So now we're in business. Okay, so this is basically the same thing. I appreciate that refactor. It's kind of hard to think about those sorts of things when you're live. Okay, so now we're good. That should function the same. Perfect. All right. So yeah. Sorry I didn't get to your comment right away. You know, sometimes I'm not the best at reading and doing this at the same time. Okay, so this is good. So we got our guy here, and then if we remove the cookie, right? Let's remove the cookie. Okay, and right. So now if there's nothing, so it redirected us. Yo, Stuns, welcome in, my friend. Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. So if we log in, perfect. Oh, well, okay, so that that didn't. Oh wait, no. Well, then why did that render? The hell? That should not have happened, brother. Come on now. Yo, how's it going? Build with AK. BetterAuth has the use session hook though. Yeah, so what I'm trying to do, Sayam, is I'm trying to just put the use session, or the use session, yeah, but use session, what is use, oh, way to access the current session, yeah. But is that not, is use, okay, so use session doesn't have to be awaited then. Is that kind of what you're intimating? I'm basically just preserving the wrapper that I already have, but maybe it's not necessary. Because we built this auth verification wrapper, right? Yeah. I was just kind of trying to preserve that. So instead of get session, do I do use session? So if I do use session here, does this even need to be asynced, I wonder? I wonder about that actually, because I just want to kind of keep this. The reason I have this wrapper auth verification on top of everything else is just so that, because I don't need everything from the session, right? I just need the username and the email. That's all I need, realistically. However, it's probably unnecessary. I'm kind of performing a, I probably should gut this and completely refactor it, but I don't really want to, just because it's already there. So if theoretically, let's just say that I did this. Does this work? Okay, no. Invalid hook call. Hooks can only be called inside of the body. Oh, right. Okay. Because it's not in a use effect because it doesn't need to be. Right. Okay. So that makes sense. Okay. So you know what we'll do? Let's just do this. Let's just leave it as this. Okay. But then let's go into here. Hooks can't be called. Yeah. I just remember that. But let's go into here. Let's say that we're not using. Let's say that we're not using this auth verifier. Just to try something, right? So let's remove this wrapper. Okay, just for a proof of concept. And then if I just did like, let's actually just comment this out for a second, just so that I can make sure that this works. So let's do a const data session equals auth client dot use session, right? But then this theoretically could return what? Null? Error, okay. So I'm assuming is pending, is refetching. So now I wonder if but it's a promise. Right? So because this is a promise, I don't know what this is gonna do. Okay, there's our session. Okay. Well, it didn't error out on us, at least. So then if I put this inside of, let's just think about this. So maybe this can't. If I try to refresh this and I delete this, then what happens? Null. Okay. So I think I can simplify our verifier here really deeply. So we can get rid of the loading then, because this all happens instantaneously. Okay, so let's redo this guy. Because there's no asynchronous bullshit happening now, I don't think. So let's just try this out. Let's refactor here. Let's just do a little, let's just say const data session is it equal to use or auth client use session. Okay, and then with the data, we actually probably don't even need this wrapper function anymore, right? So what we can do, and we probably don't even need this whole thing. We probably just need this. So we can say if not session, then, we also need the session data, right? Just doing a little cheeky refactor here. So let's say if not session right away, then we'll navigate to sign in. Otherwise, we set session data to session. Username is session.user.name, and the email is session.user.email. Okay, and then session, we don't need this anymore. We need the navigate, session data and session. And set session data. Okay. I'm starting to learn how to code. What is the most helpful advice you can give me? I want to be web dev. So if you're brand new, Mancy, what I would recommend is to either go to the Odin Project or Free Code Camp. And these are 2 free online curriculums that you can use to kind of guide your learning. The Odin Project's a little bit more open-ended. I would say more for if you have a little bit of development experience already and kind of want a little bit more of a freer approach to your learning and more self-guided. Whereas Free Code Camp is very structured and you don't have to worry about setting up your own environment. You can just do it all in the browser and these sorts of things. So if you're brand new to coding, I would go to Free Code Camp. Otherwise, I would go to the Odin Project. So that's where I get started. Just start, I do the Pomodoro timer. So I do 25 minutes on, 5 minutes break, and then I do, 4 or 5 of those. That's what I do. So best of luck, my friend. That's what I did. And, you can stick around and chat about your learning experience and stuff like this. And, we'd all be happy to chat to you about it. But that's what I recommend doing. So, okay. So now we can, you're welcome, of course. Actually, now I need to go. Auth is done pretty well. Auth is done. I just need to make triple sure that this works. I'm actually going to go feed the cat real quick. You guys know the drill. So I'll be right back in a couple. So. Actually, wait, let me get back to this comment. I'm starting my journey by learning C from bro code. Nice, Sleek. That's kind of awesome. I'm going to do C stream soon. Anyway, cat needs to be fed. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. I'm actually not 17 minutes late. I'm 13 minutes early. He normally gets fed at 7:30, but I'm feeding him early because I don't want to. If I do another Pomodoro, it'll be late. So I'm actually feeding him early. So he's a little lucky today. But no, our normal feeding times are it's 7:30. We usually do 7:30 because we do. My girlfriend feeds him 7:30 a.m. for breakfast to 7:30 to 8, and then we do 7:30-ish dinner. So it's like 12 hours apart. What do I use for my Pomodoro? I got you. I have a command for everything, guys. There it is. It's free, by the way, Salty. I recommend it. It's nice. And then I just have a scene in my OBS where I just kind of crop it out, just so because there's a lot of fluff on the screen. Brother's got commands for days. Yeah, you know what it really is, Salty? It's by doing 128 streams. Actually, today is 2 to the power 7 streams. Sorry, but after you do that many streams, you realize I should have a command for this. I should have a command for this, and I've slowly just built up a command list of 40 different commands or something. So yeah, that's basically it. It's just after every stream, I'm like, I should add a command for that or whatever, right? So yeah, exactly, Salty, exactly. Yep. But you know what? I love helping people. That's why I do what I do. I'm not even helping people. It's like, am I even helping people through doing this? I don't know. I hope so. But I don't know. I just want to also just be there and show my process and hang out, right? So that's kind of my thing. Okay, so now let's get this const session data here. So this should basically be fine, I think. So if we just do this, oops, this should basically load instantaneously. Oh, so okay, so it is still, it's still trying to. Okay, so you know what? I wonder if, oh, because we're still not, we didn't wrap it. We need to wrap it. Auth provider. We need to wrap this sucker. Of course. Auth verifier. Of course, that's why. Oh shit. Oh shit. Die already, bro. What is going on? Okay, hold on. I need to kill this. I tried killing it. Okay, there we go. Infinite loop time. Infinite loop. Wait, is it because I don't... Oh, because I didn't navigate to... I think Bashy Bunny made a Pomodoro that works in your terminal, which is kind of cool. Yeah, I've seen Bashy Bunny, actually. She's sick. Definitely inspired me to web dev go again. Yeah, well, I appreciate that, Salty. Yo, how's it going, Innovation? Okay, so we ran into a... Okay, why? I probably could just get rid of this verifier thing and just do the use session inside of... Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Let's get rid of it. Let's just do this. Let's just do, like, for all the protected routes. You know what I should do? Let's do this. So we have our verifier. We don't even need a context. Okay? If not session, navigate to sign in. And actually, we don't even need this inside of a use effect anyway. Okay? Otherwise, just return the children. And we don't even need our use auth anything. The only thing is we should theoretically pass the data to the children, right? But I mean, we could always just do auth client use session inside of that. Yes, you know what we can do is we can just use the context. So let's actually get rid of this. I can rejig the naming stuff. So let's just use a context here. So let's just go const auth provider context. Let's just call it, like, say auth context here. I don't probably need to do this realistically because but it's basically just because of the fact that I don't want to pass all the session data necessarily to each route, right? Because I could just use authClient.use session in any route that I need. But I'm doing it this way. So let's do that. Let's do this. So auth context. Let's just say this. Use context. And then what's the type of this anyway? So we have this data type. So I guess it would just be session or null. is equal to null. And then, so can I use this as a type? Maybe not. Maybe I need to import it. Import type session. Is this what we need? Maybe not. Session schema type used by better auth. Note that's possible. Oh, that's the schema type. That's not really what we want. Because we need to get this type out of here. Or no, we don't actually. Hold on. No. What am I doing? We just need this. Wait, what's the problem here? Oh, we need to use context. Yeah. Wait, so what am I doing wrong here? Create context. Oh, it's create context. Jesus Christ. I'm dumb. It's not use context. Okay. We're going to need to let's do that, and then we'll say return. Otherwise, what we'll do is we will. Can we change what the auth context is, I wonder? Or do we need a setter? I've kind of got like a bunch of duplicated code all over the place here. Actually, you know what? The pains of refactoring, guys. Actually, I'm not going to delete that yet, but we might. Because I actually probably only need this, now that I think about it. Set session data. Set data, yeah. Or wait, we have a default value, yeah, but how do we give it a value? Otherwise, we can say const context equals as web user session type. We can just say is like username session.user.name and then email session.user.email. And then what we can do is we can say return auth context dot provider and then value is equal to context. Bro, guys, I left the fork that I used to scoop out the cat's food on the table, and the cat just jumped up on the table to lick it. I don't know if you can. Oh no, you can't. I thought I'd let you know. Refreshing to see. Just came across vibe coders. Not once said any of them write a single line of code. I did everything. Yeah, Samsonite. That's the way it goes, man. I don't know why this didn't generate a closing tag. Kind of annoying. Okay, and then children inside of here. Now we might be cooking. Maybe. I don't know. But now this theoretically should pass down the context, right? And we probably then can do get the session data. Okie dokie. So this shouldn't obviously. Okay. So. Oh, so you do need to call navigate inside of a use effect. Okay, fine. Cannot read properties of null user. Okay, so we're still getting the same problem that we were getting before, which is fine. So this navigate does need to be inside of a thing. Okay. Good to know. So let's try that again. More refactoring, yay. Or jigging this. I will get this. I'm just tinkering. I don't need a return there, do I? Okay, so still, okay, so that's, okay, so still trying to read inside of the verifier 19. Where's 19? Auth verifier TSX. Trad coding gang, although I do use GPT as a glorified Google search for trivial stuff like syntax. Yeah, that's fair. I not gonna lie, at work sometimes I do it as well. We have Copilot at work, and sometimes if there's like an esoteric in-tune setting that I don't know, or like something like that, or like Azure, I will definitely AI that shit sometimes. Again, there's a difference between being like expressly anti-AI and being not pro-AI, right? Like you can be, there's nuance, right? Like I'm not anti-AI completely. I'm just anti letting AI completely replace my thinking. The above error occurred, cannot read properties of null. Yeah, I know it's reading properties of null from this, but I want to like, because I don't want to have another load state in here because I didn't think I needed it. You know, I could avoid all this by just doing use session inside of the home route. But I don't want to do that. Because this should, I mean, man. Oh, because we're not, I know why. Because we're not, there's no use off. That's the fucking problem, guys. We don't even, no. So we don't even need this. No. No. We do use context. Then we need to import that, right? Expected one arguments. Oh yeah, and then the context, right? The auth context. Which we need to export as well. Okay. What is even that? Does that mean daily Kraus? I don't know what you're getting at here. Shit, man. So this context is, I guess, is it null? Oh, because it could be. Yeah. Okay. Because we're not. This is how we're setting the context, no? Or do I not put a dot provider? Maybe I just put maybe just regular old auth context here. No. Fuck's sake. Let me look up the use context or create context docs again because I'm forgetting how to do this. Use state. Theme context. Oh, maybe this does need to be as a use state here. Imagine using FinApp, which is vibe coded. Yeah, no kidding. Nice to see an Obsidian user. Not as good as written notes, but it's my favorite digital note taker. I use it for college notes, project notes, and for work routes. Yeah, I used to applied. I used to write my I hand wrote notes until 2024 or something. So I get you completely. It's just my handwriting's so good dog shit that I just gave up. No issues with using it at times. If those are other videos I watched, felt way too much. Yeah, I agree. No wonder because I started trusting the shitty banking apps. Yeah. Again, I kind of like know what the problem is. I just like am having because so this needs to be I guess needs to be a state, right? So let's just do that. Let's just say const sessions state. Or set session state, sorry, to okay, so then do I not set that there? Avoid calling directly within an effect. Yeah, that's fair. Update external systems within the latest state. This is what happens when you haven't done React studying in a while here. Use session has states. Are you or others from MySpace days where you could customize? That's partly why I'm so shocked others posting videos coming off like software gurus. Yeah, I'm a little bit too young for MySpace. I was more of like a late Facebook, early Snapchat, Instagram age, like kind of early Gen Z. I actually want to improve my handwriting, but sometimes I get too impatient and want to formulate thoughts. Yeah. That makes sense. Innovation. Beats fast refresh plugin requires that a file containing React components only exports React components. You're breaking that rule right now according to your error. Yeah, no, I know that. That's intentional. Because you can just return what's required from the state. I guess so. I could just return session. Yeah, I mean, but then would that get passed down to the children though? Okay, this is kind of getting like a mess here. You know what I'll do? Let's just I keep waffling on what I want to do. Because I don't necessarily need this wrapper, right? I don't need this wrapper. Like this whole thing is unnecessary. And I could probably futz with it later. But like theoretically what I could do here and what would fix my problem is I could go into the root, I could get rid of this, and then I could just have the verification in home here, right? So instead of this, I could just do session data, or I could do data. I could just do this. auth client dot use session, right? And I could just do session dot user or something, right? But the problem is, I mean, okay, so this should, okay, so maybe my session expired. Oh. Still a problem here. What's the problem? User. Still? My AI video is popping off. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's still reinventing the wheel. No, I hear you. I hear you. I don't really need this verifier. I don't really need it. I was just working with pre-existing infrastructure that I already had. Why don't you pass the session and then just use the properties in the component, which is required, but it's restricting just 2 properties? I don't know. To be honest with you, I'm just making shit up as I go. But no, this is probably better to do it this way. However, we're still reading null here, so this isn't working exactly as I anticipated it would. Oh, you know why? Because we're not doing any sort of redirecting, are we? We're not checking. Use the question mark operator. The error is because what if session is not there? Yeah, exactly. No, you're right. But then I could navigate, right? So I would need to actually do this in a use effect. Again. So then blah, 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 blah. And then we need a navigator. Oh, no. No, I don't need any of this shit. Hold on. You're right. You're right, Sayam. I see. I know what you're talking about. Something like this, right? I mean, loading's not going to really cut it, but yeah, there we go. Because that we would need to redirect eventually, right? But I don't know if there's a way to get like the loading state of this. Is pending? Session.is pending, maybe. No. Oh. What is this then? Data. Oh, data session is pending. Damn it. Those are the states. Dot after the session. Okay, let's go back here. This yeah, but this doesn't really give me much clarity onto what's going on. Invert the logic. Oh, yeah, of course, invert the logic. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. Okay. Okay, that does work now. Okay, nice. You're right. That was just a logic error. Okay. We're good. But now if it is not pending, but the session's still undefined, then we need to redirect, right? So we need to do that. So we need to have a navigator. So we need to do const navigate is equal to use navigate. And then we need to have an effect here. So we need to say if, or use effect. Okay, this should be the end of the auth nonsense here. Because this is like, man, this is not easy. Okay. And then what we'll do is we'll say if not is pending and session is and not session, then we'll navigate to sign in, right? And then we'll have the is pending session navigate. And then so if we remove this cookie, oh, that should navigate away, but it isn't. Or maybe there's another value I can extract out of this. Let's see, user error is pending, is refetching. Maybe we need to get the error. Better fetch error. So let's see, better fetch error. Bro. Use session? I wish there was more. Okay, this is kind of what I need here. Okay. Bro. It's just one of those days, man. This is what we need. We need this kind of dealio here. Hate Windows so much, can't do anything I need it to. Lol, yeah. Fair enough. That's why I switched out of it, to be honest with you. I switched away from Windows a few months back, Salty, and it didn't look back. And I use Windows for work, and it sucks. Like, literally. I don't know. Have any of you guys heard of Power Apps? Because if you've heard of Power Apps, you'll know how much of a bullshit they are. There's basically Visual Basic, but like cloudified and like modernized and AI-ified to like this like Microsoft slop product. But the problem is, I've been thinking about getting a Mac, but I don't know if I could justify the price. Yeah, I saved up for it, honestly, Salty. I saved up for like a while to get mine. Because it costs like, I don't even want to say how much it costs. Even like in Canadian dollars, it was expensive. Like drag and drop, yeah. Yep, Tyler, that's exactly what it is. But the problem is my boss, needed, well, so I'm working with, a department to build them a, basically it's a form for inventory management. I have a Pro, Salty. Yeah, dabbled in Visual Basic. Imagine like modernized AI slop Visual Basic in the web browser. That's basically what it is. But anyway, so I have to make this like inventory management form using it because we have to pull from multiple different SharePoint lists and these sorts of things. So like the only tool for the job is Power Apps. So like I literally spent all day fighting Microsoft with the Power App, like because the team I'm working with wants a prototype by like Monday or Tuesday, I guess, because Monday's a holiday. And I don't technically have a prototype done, so Tuesday morning I'm gonna have to hustle to finish that before the meeting. Actually, maybe it's Wednesday the meeting. I don't know. Whenever our meeting is, for this team. So I'm basically like, I spent like all afternoon fighting with Power Apps. Monday's a holiday in Canada, yes. I don't know if it's just my province, which I might have just outed myself if it's just the province, but I don't really care. I live in I don't really mind about that. You can also see my specs here, Salty. Just got a decent laptop, put Linux on it if you're using it for dev purposes. Nice. That's awesome, Tyler. But no, there's my specs, Salty, if you're curious. Anyway, yeah. So it was like 3 hours this afternoon trying to get this thing to work because Microsoft's so obtuse, right? With like connecting data to anywhere, it's just like such a weird process because I can't work in code. It's all drag and drop, so I don't know where anything is. Hey, fair enough. You know what? To be real, I like my Mac, but like I am seriously going to consider like when this thing dies, if I do get another Mac or switch to Linux. I'm not sure. I'm open to it though. But I plan on keeping this guy in the meantime. Yeah, you got to be careful with that though, because I tried dual booting once, and it's kind of finicky. But I had a friend who did it. It's time for Linux. You're ready? Yes. Members only stream. I think I'm gonna do Linux. So that's coming soon. But at least to start, and then if the members like it, then I'll bring it to everybody. Try Dia browser. I'll look it up, Rithvik. But anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, no, I had a friend where it ate his partition. So you have to be careful. Like if you want to dual boot, I would get 2 different SSDs. At least that's what, like, I have another friend that dual boots, and that's what he does. He has, because he's a gamer, so he has Windows on one SSD and then Linux on another. So he physically separates it so that Windows doesn't like eat the partition. Yeah, okay. So let's fix this here. Let's just like nuke this whole thing. Okay, so let's do data. Let's not do any navigation bullshit. Let's just build out this fucking page properly. And let's do error. Okay. So we'll say if is pending, then return loading. Okay. If error, we'll kind of do that format that we had there. We'll return like a let's just do like is there like a shad error? I wonder. Well, no, it doesn't really matter. Shad cn. Let's see if there's an error component or like something like that, or maybe like a little card. Nah, it doesn't really matter. I'm not going to go down in the weeds with that. So let's just say error, and then we'll do error dot what? Dot message. And then otherwise we'll do session, and then we'll return like and then this needs to be wrapped inside of a div as well. Okay. Let's just say JSON.stringify session dot user null to no session. Something like this. I'll do that in the near future before your members only Linux stream. Sounds good, Tyler. Use a Google gift card to join your members. Doesn't have to be ICC. Oh, nice. Sorry, I didn't read your first message, but I appreciate that. It does help. It does help. Because we still only have like members are pretty low. We've only got like 3 members. But you know what? Again, if I was doing this for the money, I would have quit a long time ago. So it's, you know, money helps, and I'm reinvesting it into the stream. But you know, it's not. I'm all right. Don't necessarily need it. I'm not going to be a grifter. I just got a new CC. I don't like to use it online. Fair enough. Yeah, you know what? I probably honestly should be more careful with what I use it for. To be real, I keep my online fingerprint minimal. Yeah, I get that. Okay, so no session found. Perfect. This is exactly what we wanted. Okay, so this is a much better system, I think, than having all of this bullshit. So this is better. So then we can kind of flesh this out, right? So what we can do is we can kind of, make this, we could even break this up into components or something, right? You won't find my shit on breach forums. Yeah, you know what? My shit's probably, and the thing is too is it's shitty because like we need to teach people generally because there's varying levels of like negligence, right? Like for instance, my mom for like I don't know, like I'm not gonna actually she probably wouldn't want me talking about this, but she there's safety concerns there sometimes. So I just caught myself because I'm like maybe she's gonna, because sometimes she watches my stream and I don't want her like talking like hey you shouldn't have said that or whatever, so I'm actually gonna stop. But no actually yeah you gotta be careful. That's all I'll say. Okay, so let's do a little let's put this inside of a div. Yeah, I help my parents with OPSEC, as they say. I get them to use gift cards as much as possible. Yeah. Yep. But no, I've been helping my parents as well with basic stuff. Nice. Yeah, that's good because I'm sure like you have like a, I don't know if you firewall your network. I mean, it's a good idea too, I think. And then we'll do like a link here just to go to sign in. Yay. Okay, we're good now. We are good now. Good. I'm not concerned about this anymore. I thought that was going to add more to the error, but we'll keep it the way it is now. So now what we can do is we can finally check off the box. Dude, I spend too much time like fucking around here. Okay. So let's now fix this. So let's say let's fix this guy. So let's say let's do like an h1 welcome, and then we'll say session.user.name to BenStack drive, and we should have like a button maybe, and then we can add this, and we'll say sign out. Although I need to probably put that inside of an alert though, or not an alert. What's it called? Alert dialog. So we need to do that whole thing. So let's actually make that as a component. Sign out button.tsx function sign out button. Okay, turn. Let's just do this and then export default sign out button. Okay. Okay, so then we're gonna need to do this. So we're gonna say pnpm add filter web, or no, actually no, it isn't. It's pnpx. Can I filter? Shad cn at latest add alert dialog. Okay, so you can't do filter with that. So how can we do PNPX inside of a specific? I mean, I can just navigate to it. Okay. Good. Okay. So now let's get this in here. Oh, this is a, I see. Oh, we're importing from the wrong thing. So we need a title. Oh, we have this inside of a header. Like this. The children's string is missing from the following types. Oh, alert, dialogue, action, maybe. I need to add that one as well, if that's the problem. Sign out. Okay, what is the deal here, guys? Alert, dialogue, cancel, variant from type. Add missing attributes. Why do those need to be defined? It's so strange. Oh well. They should have defaults, but you know, it is what it is. Okay, and then when we sign out here, we're gonna do an on click. I'm assuming I can do, like, what can I add to this? Should be able to add an on click, no? Auth client dot sign out, right? I think that's it. I think that's all I need. Let's see, auth client sign out. Yeah. Although I might need to do this inside of a sign out function. So let's say const sign out, handle sign out equals async. Although I could actually, I could probably just do this. I don't even need to do that. I can just probably do it inline. Async await auth client dot sign out, like this. Okay, and then inside of here, we can do our sign out button. Which we're exporting, yeah. Okay. Don't need the button anymore. Okay, so here's our sign out. Are you sure you want to sign out? We sign out. And then we can sign in. Perfect. Ooh, kidokey. All right, that works. Now we just need to fix the layout a little bit. We got the sign out working. And if we cancel it, presumably it works too. Yeah. So how does this look? Perfect. Yo, Jay, how's it going? I think we finally got. I don't know why the auth always takes like triple the length of time. But we're basically done. Okay. Keyboard. Exclamation point. I got you, Hector. Okay. So I think that's everything. We just need to futz around with the layout now, right? Like, I don't know. Okay, so that's good. Got our sign out button working. And now we actually have to do the hard thing, which is fucking making this work. So let's do web transition to, or use auth client context instead. Let's just say that. And of course, okay, the other thing is the UX here is shitty, but it does work, right? So that's fine. So we can spend the rest of this Pomo session kind of organizing how this is going to look, right? Because we're going to have our sign out. You know, we could presumably put this on, you know, because this is pretty ugly. I can fix this. And then we're going to have our file navigation, you know, underneath. So I got to figure out what kind of like front end layout I want to do for this, right? So that would be inside of this, you know, so for this guy, we can give it a, we can even do like a, maybe a styles folder. So we can do like home content style dot ts. It'll say exports default home const or default home content style equals, and then can I like define this? I could just do export const. That's fine. And then export default. And again, I'm defining these inside of the web because, I mean, that's the only place that they're going to be used. So we can do a flex. Let's just do flex like this, and then we'll get this guy in here. Home content style. There we go. And then we'll do like maybe a max width. Small or XS, not XS, at least for the mobile maybe, max WXL for medium, and then we're going to do justify center, MX auto, We're gonna do an MX Auto. How can I like add a little bit to that? Maybe like a PX2. 4. Let's do like the smallest. Yeah, so that's not too bad. Take a look at the shadcn sidebar component. It can be a bit to implement. Okay, sure. Let's take a look at that. Ooh, that would actually be nice. Should we go for it? I'm down to go for it. They have different styles from the two. You can see in the blocks page. Wait, where's the blocks page? Is that like on the side here? No. Very top. Ah, yes. I see. Very cool. Sidebar that collapses into icons. Sidebar with submenus. That's probably not what we want. We probably want we probably just want a basic one, no? Probably just need something like this. You know? So let's spend the rest of the stream doing some front end fun. So let's yeah. So we got a basic sidebar, right? That's all we really need. Just need a basic one. Okay, so let's go back to the sidebar documentation here. So we have a sidebar provider, and then so that's going to need to be where. Sidebar trigger, and then children, but then where do we pass this? So we have the sidebar provider on the outside, and then the sidebar is underneath that. Sidebar provider handles collapsible state and provides sidebar context to child components. Ah, okay, yeah. But then how do we give, oh, we put the sidebar inside. Typically a layout route, got you. Got you. Okay, then this would need a, but I did write a sign out button, so we can completely kind of rejig this here. So let's put this. So would layout be in components, generally speaking, or would we do components layout? Because if we did like a home layout, for example, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I've kind of got this. I'm using the auth client use session here, but I would just like have like a layout component that I would return, right? Which would then render everything underneath, and then the layout component would have. Am I doing data mode or framework mode? Data mode. But yeah, so then the layout would have inside components, probably a folder name shared. Fair enough. Then a component would be fine. Yeah, I mean, sure. I was thinking of a component like layout or something. But no, I hear you, BRNA. Or Burna, because it's not really shared because it's within this web app, right? So, but it's shared in the sense that it's all these components are kind of shared. So let's just do it as a component. Let's just say home layout. And we'll do children. Okay, so then let's install these. Got hooks too. Okay. Let's do this then. If you use the template, it'll scaffold everything for you. It was on the blocks page, but I understand if you want to implement it from scratch. No, I hear you. I hear you, Jay. I just wanted to take a peek at that to see like what's possible. But I do want to implement it. I do want to implement it myself. Because I mean, I might as well, right? We learn things. I mean, even if it is kind of copying, I'm kind of tailoring it to what I need it to do, right? So what's this app sidebar here? Oh, that is the sidebar component. I see. And I'm actually going to wrap this inside of another, maybe a fragment. Only because we might also render, like we're not just going to have the sidebar, right? We're also going to have file nav here or something like that, right? In the future. If that makes any sense. Okay, let's take another 5 minute break here. Unless we need the file nav to be inside of the sidebar provider, right? Maybe we do. Maybe we need it to be like this. That actually might need to be the way it is. Now that I think about it. Yep. I understand now. So we do a main here. Yeah. And we could probably also define that in here, right? So, and then this also, of course, needs to be this. Yeah, okay, no more typing. We're done. I think I can get this going in the next 25 minutes. Famous last words. But we'll see. Wrap your outlet wherever that is. Ooh. Around this home layout? Well, so this is basically like how I've had this. I think because we only want the sidebar to render if, well, I was gonna put it in here, but maybe we want, because do we need a sidebar? Like, let's say the home layout would wrap the outlet. Okie dokie. Yeah, because the outlet's in the root, right? You know what I mean? The outlet's in the root. But then, yeah, that makes sense. But then this is my home. My home guy here. Okay, I see. Okay. So like, because this is, I could do it in a layout route when I define it inside of here. And that's only, our layout route's only the framework. Oh no, I could do it. I could do it with this. No, you're right. I can. So then what I could do is just render the home under here. Under the sidebar provider. Under main. So what I could do is I could do, I could just refactor this here. I have an idea. Okay, that's how we're going to do this then. So this is how we're going to do this. We're going to basically make this home layout and then render this guy underneath it. Yeah. Yep. I mean, ideally, this is going to be basically like a single page application, right? Like, I mean, we're not really going to need to, well, I mean, I guess in the sense that you're navigating different files, but I mean, we're not really going to like, there's not going to be multiple different things. So, okay, let's get going here. So this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do component home layout. And then under here, children. Something like this, right? I think that pattern works. And then we don't have to wrap the outlet then, do we? Because we did it here. Okay. Not anymore, yeah. Exactly. Okay, so let's keep going here. There's our sidebar trigger. Nice. Cool. So now up here we need our sidebar, right? So let's make another component. Let's do a new file. We'll say home sidebar.tsx. And then we'll say return, and then export default home sidebar. And then we're going to do sidebar. Okay. And we have a sidebar header, content, group, and footer. So sidebar header. We need a header, sidebar, content. And then we could do sidebar footer. I don't even know what we really need. We could have the sign out button in here, right? Something like this. So let's import the header, content, footer. We can put our sign out button in there, right? Sidebar footer's sticky though, so that means when we scroll. Okay. And then we're gonna put the home sidebar here. Variant inset. If you said it's going to be SPA, well, I don't know. Just because I did. Probably not the best. Oh, that's why. Thank you. Got it. Thanks for that. Okay, so there's our sidebar. Now, how do I like hide it again? There's probably got to be a hide button. Appreciate that. But no, I don't know. I could definitely refactor and rename it because I'm not 100% sure if it's going to be SPA, but it's pretty much going to be SPA. But you're right. That is a not ideal decision on my part. I'm just doing home just cause. Just gives it a name. So I need that thing that's going to hide it, right? So where's the hide sidebar thing? Sidebar rail. Used to render a rail within the sidebar. Okay. Use sidebar was above that. Oh, I see. Ah, yes. Okay. Toggle sidebar. So we can set the open state of the sidebar. So we can then attach that to a button or something, right? Presumably. We just need really open, right? And then what we could do is we could say, you shouldn't need to use the use sidebar for default behavior time. That is to alter the functionality. Oh, okay, but then how do we close the sidebar again? Is there a way of doing that easily? Oops, that's not what I wanted. Close sidebar. No. Validate the CSS is correct. With regard to? Oh, you just click anywhere outside of it. That's how you close it. Okay. It's on the sidebar docs. Hold on. Sidebar header, component data sticky header. We got the footer, sidebar content, sidebar group, to create a section. Sidebar menu. Theming. Okay. So then would that be inside of the... No way. That would be inside of the CSS, no. Sidebar background. Oh, yeah, so here's all the sidebar stuff. right? So that looks good. And then our dark has its own sidebar as well. So it did update. It did update the CSS here. So that looks good, if that's what you're referring to. Oh, sidebar menu action. Group data. Oh, okay, so you can style based on different states. Interesting. If that is there, then you should be good. Yeah. Yeah. It is. So we're fine. Okay, so let's keep going. So that's fine. So now I know how to close it. So you basically just click anywhere that's outside of it. All right, so if we go, oh, our button's there. Okay, so this is changing between mobile and whatnot. Okay, so let's say, so we have our header. So let's go back up to the header recommendation here. So we maybe want like a little, yo, how's it going, Zelios? I hope you're doing well as well. I'm doing just fine. I'm new to programming and I want to know how you do thing. I want to know, do you think it's worth it to learn the syntax? And how do you remember things? First of all, I mean, is it worth it to like learn the syntax to use it? I think so. But is it worth it to like commit it to memory? I don't think so, because you can always look at documentation after, right, Daniel? But the other question that you had was, how do you remember stuff? And the short answer is, I don't. I look up docs quite frequently, and as needed. But you get better at kind of researching what you need to find. As time goes on. Yo, Anthony, how's it going? Last tuned into your day 30 stream. You seem to have made so much progress since then. Yeah, I have. And it's nice to see you. I do remember you, actually. Probably display username and link to account info and button in the header. Yeah, exactly, Salty. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just catching up on chat. Most code editors have autocomplete. Yeah, exactly, they do. So if you mess up the syntax, Daniel, yeah, that'll happen. But no, it's nice to see you. No, I have made progress, although last month or so, I feel like I've kind of hit a wall with progress, but that's just the way that it goes, right? What feature am I trying to implement right now? We're doing a shad CN sidebar. That's gonna hopefully use, the only thing with that is I need to get the, so this is our home layout here. I don't even think our home layout needs the sign out button or anything like that, right? It just probably needs that. Would you recommend the Odin Project to other people? I'm going through it, but I'm a little unmotivated at the to-do list project. Yeah, I mean, I'd recommend it, Zelios. I would, because I did use it, and I'm still technically using it, even though I'm like kind of very at the end. Oh, yo, how's it going, Bland? And as far as the to-do list project, make it something like, add a little bit of your own flair to it. Like don't make it just a generic to-do list project. Like maybe, or even maybe make another app that has kind of what the to-do list, like it's about learning outcomes more than it is what the actual app is, right? Because like with the to-do list app, you're essentially you're learning CRUD operations, like create, read, update, delete, right? But like you can do an app that has CRUD operations that isn't necessarily a to-do app, right? Is this a monorepo? What are you using on the back end? I'm assuming Express. This is a monorepo, and it's actually a monorepo that I created to learn. So you can actually read a bit about it here. I use Hano in the back end, which is not Express, but it's Express-like, I would say. But it's a little more modern, so that's what I'm using in the back end. But I have an explanation there on that paste bin, if that works. I hope that link works. Okay, let's stop waffling here. So inside of the header, let's see like an example of the header. See, there's a menu. Okay. Nice. Hano is good if you're pushing for serverless. Yeah. I honestly just chose it because of the syntax, realistically. But no, I just thought it looked good. I eventually do plan on switching to full stack frameworks, Anthony, but this is just kind of like an intermediary as I learn, what front end can do, what back end can do, because I was doing a bit of full stack frameworks, but I found myself getting a little lost. So this is kind of just to as like an intermediary, so I can work with the individual components more closely instead of being confused. Oh, what's on the client? What's on the server? This sort of thing, right? As I still kind of am learning those concepts practically. I made a Wordle clone game before with a twist of difficulty and a timer for learning Java. Yeah, that's cool. Full stack frameworks like Next.js are kind of confusing due to being able to have everything in one directory. Yeah, exactly. And I found if you go back to my streams from like a month ago, I was getting lost doing that, and then I pivoted. Yeah, exactly. I think it's better to do it this way. I'm finding I'm making a lot more progress this way anyway. With React, can I just ship the JS ones with the landing page and let JS take over and work entirely off JSON APIs on the back end? I don't know. Yeah, exactly, Anthony. Yeah, exactly. That and like what was server versus what was client was like I was like no. I want to work with them separately first, so I understand this at a higher level. So let's in the header. Let's just say we got to pass in the data, right? We gotta get the data in here from the session. Because we're gonna obviously, this is our trick here is we have to maybe get the session data inside of the home sidebar, because I think we want to render this differently depending on if the session exists or not, if that makes any sense. Because we're doing the session inside of home here, but we might want to do the session inside of the layout now that I think about it. Right? So I might actually do that. Let's do a little cheeky refactor here. Let's just leave this as this one H1 here. Because I want to move this over here. Right? Because this is now wrapping, because of our refactor, this is now wrapping this, right? So I'm gonna do this. Let Claude vibe the UI and expose API endpoints on the server. Is that what you're doing? Oh, oops, seems to be nice, of course. Jesus Christ. What the fuck is going on? Dude, what? I just want to give, let's just say null for sake of example. What was the what's the difference? Oh, because it needs to be inside of a fragment. Bruh. That's why. There we go. Now we're good. Good. Okay. That was kind of dumb. This needs to be a div, actually. Sorry, I'm not reading chat right now. Okay, this should be, now we have the session here. And then now we can just like do this. Instead of worrying about, let's not worry about passing that right now. We might put that inside of a context. What's the problem here? Get rid of that diff here. Okay. While you're here, I would change the children to outlet. Would you? Okay, let's do that. Sorry, I didn't see that. Okay. So you do outlet like this. Yeah, that makes more sense, right, Jay? Because we're doing, because of the way that we're doing the router with the routes. The outlet would make more sense, yeah. I think that's what you're intimating. Okay. So now we have the context actually inside of here. Which is good. We should probably have we have the session. But then we should probably put the session inside of a context in this, right? It should look much better now. Yeah. I mean, it looks pretty good, I think. But the only thing is now I need to pass the session into this guy, right? I mean, I could also just do this. I could also just, instead of doing that, I could just use the session inside of the home again, like this, except not with the error and is pending. And then just, you know, right? I could do that as well. I think that's actually easier than implementing our own context because we have the context here, technically, through the auth client API. So that might be better. Okay, now we have our sidebar, which we can actually also do the same thing. I don't know if this is advisable or not, but we could just say like, welcome, or like, you know, we could do like let's do a lucid. Let's do like a user. A neat little trick if you want to import components exactly that they're named, you can do an export function name rather than export default at the bottom. Ooh, yes. Good idea. Like this. Thanks, Anthony. I appreciate that. I knew that too. I just forgot. I forgot. So if we do a what this we call it? User. Then we import this from there we go. And then we do like a shadcn has an avatar component. Does it? It does. Okay, cool. No need for the default. Oh, you don't need the default. Okay, so you can just do function. Nice. That I did not know. That I did not know. Okay, let's do the avatar then. I'm with that. Okay. Let's just get a little avatar showing up here. So if we do avatar. Can we just do okay, so we can do a fallback. I don't need an image necessarily. I just want, if I don't want to do an image. Can I just define a fallback? Avatar badge, avatar group. Session.name.char@. Ooh, true. But would that be for the fallback? Char. Okay. Yeah, I got you. Yep. We only have one name, so we're just gonna give it the first initial. That's fine. Hello. Did this break? Oh no. It broke the website. What if I get rid of the avatar? Nope. Maybe there's something else going on. You got to re-import your home sidebar properly now that you changed. Ah, indeed. Thank you for that. Did it move? Oh, because of this. That's it. There we go. Yep. I see you. Good. There's our little user. And then we'll put a little name next to him. So we'll just say session.user.name. Except we're gonna do a little flex here. Can I not do that? Flex row. There we go. Justify between and then like item center. Okay, maybe not between. Justify center. No, let's just do it like this. And then maybe do like a gap of like 4. Yeah. Not too bad. Okay, I mean, it's not great, but it works. You can see our little user there. And then we're gonna obviously like add the different stuff under that. Okay, cool. All right. I mean, we did more than we had. And then let's just check that the sign out works. And then no session found. Click here to sign in. And then you can sign in. Nice. You don't have to use the curly braces and backticks if you don't plan on passing any variable dependent values. If you do need that though, shadcm comes with a cn helper function. Otherwise, you can just keep it as normal string. The reason why I've been doing this, Anthony, is because I like to have like multiple lines sometimes if it gets long enough. And I don't think you can do that with just a regular string. Like if I just did this with a regular string and then I remove this, I don't think I can do that. Because if I just press enter, oh no, it does work. Why am I like tripping? I could have sworn that didn't work. Maybe it does. Never mind. Okay, I'm literally stupid. Okay. All right, never mind. For some reason, I thought it wouldn't work. I appreciate you bringing that up, though. That makes sense. Autocomplete puts the curly braces there by default. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. All right. So we got our BenStack account, and then if we wanted to log back into our user account, we could log into the user account. We could even make a new account, do all that stuff. Do you plan to add Remember Me to the login? Yeah, eventually. Actually, that's a good point. Let me write that down. Let's do API/web add. Actually, it would just be web, wouldn't it? Add Remember Me check to sign in. I'll make this like a P2, but this should be like low-hanging fruit. So I'll do that at some point. But I appreciate that suggestion. That's a good idea. Okay, add sign out method. We did that. And then let's just do web finish primary layout with home layout with sidebar P0. Sure. That's what we're kind of working on right now. So I didn't know you can create a Kanban inside of Obsidian. How'd you do that? Simple plugin. Kanban plugin. Right here. That's how I did it. It's really nice. I like it. I kind of do it how I manage my stuff at work. So I've got like these priorities. So P0 is like high priority, P1's medium priority, and then P2 is like low or like optional. Or am I doing another Pomo? No, I'm not planning on it. That was the end of the 5th Pomo. So I got I have a little bit of stuff. I have some stuff I need to do. Kanban, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's neat. Because like actually it just renders as markdown. Like this is the markdown, right? So the markdown is just like a to do, but you can render that as a Kanban board or Kanban. Kanban, Kanban. I don't know, potato. But yeah. Giant MD file with checkboxes. That's what I was doing. But no, it's basically that. But then you just have this like UI wrapper on top of it, right? But I like doing it this way. My to-do list is kind of ad hoc sometimes, but I do like to have it that way. But anyway, all right. So we did make some progress tonight. Figured out that don't reinvent the wheel if you don't have to. Just do the off client use session and be happy. That's what we learned. Thanks to Satyam helping, and that was earlier in the stream. And then we started experimenting with this sidebar, which is really nice. And we're gonna flesh that out next stream, tomorrow evening. And then first members only stream will be next week. So I don't know when yet. I'm gonna find a time, but stay tuned. Can you show the code inside auth client? Maybe you can use React context for this one. Auth client is provided to me by BetterAuth, Hasanar. I was thinking, I literally spent the first part of the stream thinking that I could do the context, but that's kind of like just adding another layer of abstraction where I didn't need it, right? Where I didn't necessarily need it. So let me go to where was that lib here? So it's literally just pulling from, this is from BetterAuth. This is the auth client from BetterAuth. So if I go, wait, hold on. Not there, where is this? If I go, and then I go docs, and then I go concepts client, this is where I'm getting this from. So I'm using it in my client side, right? And then my base URL for the server is 8080, which again, I need to make this an environment variable, but I'll do that eventually. Once you publish, you can actually use an end variable. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm going to do. I actually should also add that to my on hold section now that I think about it. So what I'll do here is I'll add a global replace all hard-coded strings with envars. And I'm going to make that a priority 0. But I'm putting that on hold because that's for like when deploying, like before deploy, right? Do I have a SWE job? No. I work in IT. So it's not SWE at all. You can actually, if you want to, well, I mean, yeah, it's a tier 2 IT job. I basically do, I'm basically like a systems admin. I do sysadmin, database administration, systems analyst. Like I'm basically like a sys analyst, sysadmin, database admin, and like that sort of all those sorts of things in one. That's basically what I do. Because the IT team is pretty small. I'm one of 3 tier 2 techs, so kind of have to wear a lot of hats. But yeah, that's what I do for work. It's no. SWE maybe eventually. I don't know if I'll ever work in SWE, honestly. But anyway, and I'm also not good enough to work. I'm not skilled enough to work in software yet. Maybe in a year. or something. But you know, I've made leaps and bounds in 6 months, as you know, Anthony. So, you know, hoping that's the case. But anyway, thank you so much for watching and supporting me. I really do appreciate it. We passed 3,000 subscribers, which is fantastic. That clip that I posted blew up. It's got like 13,000 views. Have faith, man. So you'd be working a 200K sweet job. I really appreciate that, Anthony. Hopefully, maybe so. Anyway, I appreciate all the support. You know, channel's growing like crazy. You know, there's a lot of nice people out there, you know, supporting my journey, and you know, I want to give back in any way that I can. You know, stay tuned for the schedule coming out for next week. I'll be live tomorrow evening if you can make it. Sweet is like 95% problem solving, 5% syntax. Appreciate that. Yeah, that is true. That's also IT too. IT is like 45% problem solving, 50% meetings. Actually, it's like 75% meetings. Let me do the 20% problem solving and then 5% actually implementing anything. So anyway, I hear you on that. I'll see you guys later. Stay tuned. Join the Discord if you want stream updates. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow evening if you can make it.